Right. Let's talk about money. Not the kind of money you find under your sofa cushions, which, let's be honest, is probably just a sticky penny and some lint that looks suspiciously like a raisin. No, I'm talking about the kind of money that makes a gold vault look like a child's piggy bank. I'm talking about trillion-dollar deals. These are the corporate blockbusters, the financial equivalent of a dinosaur fighting a robot movie. Except the explosions happen on stock tickers and the casualties are usually your favorite snack brand, which is now owned by a company that also makes industrial solvents. It's a bit unsettling. These deals are so massive, they reshape entire industries overnight. Imagine one giant company swallowing another like a corporate python digesting a large surprised capybara. That's a mega deal. It's a business marriage, often arranged by bankers in expensive suits who use phrases like synergistic value proposition, which is just a fancy way of saying, we hope this works and makes us all disgustingly rich. These aren't just transactions. They are seismic events that ripple through the global economy, affecting everything from the price of your phone to the shows available on your streaming service. It's a high-stakes game played by people whose daily coffee budget could probably fund a small nation. And why are these deals happening more and more? Well, it's a mix of things. It's like being at a buffet, but instead of piling your plate with shrimp, you're a tech giant piling your shopping cart with smaller, innovative companies. The goal is simple: get bigger, crush the competition, and control the future. These deals are the corporate world's version of the Hunger Games, only with more spreadsheets and significantly fewer teenagers with bows and arrows. Though, given some board meetings, you can never be entirely sure. The sheer scale is mind-boggling. We're talking about sums that could solve any number of global problems, but are instead used to decide who gets to own the cloud. Yes, the actual cloud. Not the fluffy white things in the sky, but the invisible digital space where you store your embarrassing photos from 2011. The players in this game are names you know: Microsoft, Amazon, Disney, and they are all making bets that will define the next century. This isn't just business news for the Wall Street Journal. This is the architecture of our future being built, deal by expensive deal, right in front of our eyes. It's not just buying a lot of avocados. Is there a special velvet rope and a bouncer named Klaus who checks the price tag? Essentially, yes. Industry folks generally slap the mega label on any merger or acquisition that crosses the $10 billion mark. That's a 10 with 9 zeros after it. That's a 10 with 9 zeros after it. Your lunch. A car. A mega deal. If you earned $1 every second, it would take you over 317 years to reach $10 billion. By then, you'd be very old, very tired, and probably very annoyed that your favorite brand of yogurt is now owned by a self-driving car company. Think of it this way. Buy a new coffee machine, that's a purchase. If you buy the coffee shop, that's a business acquisition. But if you buy the entire global coffee bean supply chain, that's approaching mega-deal territory. The farms, the shipping companies, the weird little paper sleeves for the cups. These aren't just about getting bigger, they're about strategic domination. A pharmaceutical giant might buy a biotech startup to get its hands on a single revolutionary drug patent. A media company might buy a film studio to acquire its library of classic characters, ensuring another 50 years of superhero sequels. These deals come in a few flavors. Horizontal merger. Two competitors join forces, like two rival pizza shops becoming one giant pizzeria. Vertical merger. A company buys one of its suppliers. Tomato farm, cheese factory, cardboard box company. The goal is to control the entire process from start to finish. Conglomerate merger. Two totally unrelated companies combine, like video games buying lawnmowers. It sounds weird, but the logic is to diversify and not put all your corporate eggs in one basket. Ultimately, a mega deal is a declaration of intent. It's a company shouting from the rooftops, "We are not just here to play the game, we are here to change the rules." It's a calculated, eye-wateringly expensive gamble. The combined entity will be more powerful, more profitable, and more dominant than the two companies were apart. It's the corporate equivalent of forming a supergroup, hoping you get the Beatles, but often ending up with something far less memorable. But when it works, it changes everything. To really understand this, let's look at a couple of real-life examples from the last decade. First up, remember when Facebook, now Meta, bought WhatsApp back in 2014 for a cool $19 billion? At the time, people's minds were blown. WhatsApp was a messaging app with about 55 employees, very little revenue. It looked like Mark Zuckerberg had just spent a small country's GDP on an app that your aunt uses to send you minion memes. It seemed insane. Pundits screamed, analysts fainted. The world collectively asked, for what? It was a massive, seemingly reckless bet. But Zuckerberg wasn't buying an app, he was buying people. Specifically, he was buying the daily attention of 450 million users, a number that would soon swell to over 2 billion. He saw that communication was shifting to private, encrypted messaging, and he chose to buy the competition rather than fight it. It was a defensive and offensive move rolled into one. He neutralized a major threat and acquired a colossal user base, ensuring Facebook's dominance in social communication for another decade. Zuckerberg, Jan Koum, Brian Acton. Now let's fast forward to a more recent behemoth, Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. This deal closed in 2023 for a staggering $69 billion. It was an entirely different beast. Microsoft, the company that gave us Clippy the Paperclip, decided to become the king of video games. Activision Blizzard is the creative force behind Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Candy Crush. Yes, the game your dentist plays between appointments. This wasn't about buying users. The main player here was Microsoft's CEO, Satya Nadella, who is trying to build a future where our work and play happen inside Microsoft's ecosystem, Xbox, PC, a future virtual reality headset. He saw gaming not just as a hobby, but as the next social platform, the metaverse. By buying Activision, Microsoft didn't just buy games, it bought entire communities, established universes, and a direct pipeline to the next generation of consumers. This was a strategic play for the future of entertainment itself, a deal so big it made the WhatsApp acquisition look like a rounding error. So, these deals are fascinating, but what can we, the normal people who have to check our bank balance before ordering takeout, actually learn? Well, the underlying principles aren't just for billionaires in boardrooms. The first lesson is calculated risk. Zuckerberg spending $19 billion on WhatsApp looked like a madman's gamble, but it was a calculated one. He risked a huge amount of capital for a potential reward, dominance in future communication. He didn't bet the whole farm, but he bet a significant chunk on a well-researched, forward-looking trend. The second ingredient is timing. Both Microsoft and Facebook acted at critical moments. Facebook bought WhatsApp before it became an unbeatable independent giant. Microsoft bought Activision as gaming exploded and the metaverse went mainstream. They jumped in when it was becoming clear to experts, not when it was obvious to everyone. In high finance, being a bit early beats being late. Being late means you get acquired, not do the acquiring. The third lesson is strategic collaboration, synergy. 1 + 1 can equal 3. Azure plus Activision. A gaming service like Xbox Game Pass nobody else can match. Combining strengths creates an unstoppable force. Your skills plus someone else's audience or resources can be far more valuable together. It's teamwork, on a scale that involves antitrust lawyers. These three pillars, calculated risk, timing, collaboration, are the foundation of mega deals. It's not throwing money at a wall. It's deep research, a clear vision, and the courage to make a massive bet at the right moment. You and I may not buy multi-billion-dollar companies, but these principles apply to our lives, careers, and finances, with fewer zeros. Which is probably for the best. That many zeros get confusing. Alright, so how do you apply these billion-dollar lessons without $1 billion? It's simpler than you think. Let's start with calculated risk. This doesn't mean betting your life savings on a cryptocurrency named after a dog. It means making informed leaps in your own life. Leaving a stable but dead-end job. Joining a startup with a promising future. Investing a small, manageable amount. Learning coding. Learning graphic design. Potential upside. Better career. Potential upside. More income. Manageable downside. Lost time. Manageable downside. Lost money. It's your own personal R&D budget. Then there's timing. You don't need to predict the stock market to master timing. Pay attention to trends in your industry or community. Everyone at your company talking about AI? Now might be the time to take that online course. House for sale in your favorite neighborhood while mortgage rates dip? That's a timing opportunity. Act when conditions are favorable. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Finally, let's talk about your personal synergy. Build your own team. You can't buy another company, but you can collaborate. So, the big takeaway from all these corporate shenanigans is this. It's about being the CEO of You Inc. Take smart risks. Pay attention to timing. Build a team that makes you stronger. You don't need to be a billionaire to think like one. Look at where the world is going and have the courage to move. And unlike those mega deals, your success won't require a Senate hearing. which frankly sounds like a huge win.